In today's video, we're going to be talking with my best friend Jacob, who's produced for Travis Scott, 21 Savage, Metro Boomin, Bryson Tiller, the list goes on, and he's going to be answering questions directly from you guys. If you guys haven't already heard, I launched the Sonics Academy, which is pretty much a community where I have these live group calls with me and other multi-platinum producers where we do Q&As, beat reviews, all this kind of stuff. We actually did a Q&A with Jacob on and had the community asking him questions, and this was supposed to be an exclusive event, but about halfway through, I was just like, why don't we just edit this up and chop this and put this on YouTube, because there's too much knowledge and gems being put out right now. He's going to be giving advice on how to get placements, giving a bunch of mindset tips on how to make it as a producer, talking about how he got his placements, and even some tips on how he runs his very own VST plugin company. So a bunch of gems in this one, and without wasting any more time, let's just get right into it.
So my question is, if you had to start over again, how would you do it?
This is a great question. If I was starting again from ground zero, I absolutely would have took a more like content heavy. That's the absolute route that I would have took. And the reason that I would have taken it as well too is because I like to call people who sell sample packs, whether it's VSTs, beats, whatever it is, it's like entre-producers. We can make really great products and stuff that actually empower and help the community. Sure, I might have a Grammy nomination, this, whatever, like those things are great, but like I can't guarantee off of music even to this day that I'm going to always get paid and compensated. Whereas when it comes to like selling the plugins and stuff like that, that's a lot more of like a surefire way to know that I'm going to get paid based off of like input output. I know that like if I put a lot of time into making content, and I usually will see a return. And I think the second approach that I would take to it is like, now I feel like I wish I had a partner in crime, and I really wish that I built with somebody like from my hometown or somebody that I was able to meet earlier on in my career and build with them. Producers that get to that next level, it's like it's a Benny X and Yeet, it's a Metro and 21. There's so many great examples. I think that when you can actually create a sound with an artist, that's when you yourself can become like a super producer. So I think it also gives you a chance to do that.
I agree 100% about, I mean, obviously it's all I preach, like building your personal brand. So many things that you can do with building a personal brand nowadays. So
well, I've got like two questions. It's kind of like two in one. The first part is like, what's one thing that you wish you knew when you started? What's a piece of advice or something that you did that took your career to the next level?
One thing I wish I knew when I started was how important songwriters are. Realistically, like every time I talk to producers that like they get on this run and I'm like, how are they doing this or whatever? 9 times out of 10, I realize it's because they locked in with a really great writer. I didn't really realize many artists take like hooks and stuff like that. I would definitely think about that as like a path. Sending my beats more to writers as much as I'm sending them to like other producers to flip my samples. The second part, it was honestly as simple as it sounds, hopping on a flight. So I live in a pretty remote place here in Canada. I'm in Nova Scotia. There's not really a big art scene. It's a pretty small province. My whole life was just so used to this. I never wanted to get on a plane. And it wasn't until I got outside of my comfort zone, I hopped on a plane, I went to LA. That's where like my mind really shifted. One of the best experiences I ever had is like my friend, White Trash Tyler, got to work with Kanye, and he hit me one day and he's like, if you can be here Monday, you can help film. I hopped on a flight. That period of time was like the most inspirational and the biggest growth that I ever had. And it truly opened up my world. So like even one of the guys right now, he just hit me, I won't mention the name, but he's working on like a Netflix doc and he wants me to score that. But he's from that group and he's gone on to do this. And because we have that connection, he's like, hey, would you ever score another film? But none of that would have happened if I just had that kind of small town mentality. So I really think it's important for everybody as much as they can to shake some hands and kiss some babies, as they say.
My question is, I know that you got your placement with Metro through Alan Ritter. How did you do that, and how would you recommend people to get into like those situations where you can like send stuff to people like that?
Yeah, so luckily for me, for anybody who doesn't know, I scored the Travis Scott Look Mom I Can Fly. I also helped edit that because I have like a film background. Because I did that, it came out, they were having a Jack Boys songwriting camp. That's where I met Alan. We never made any music, but we just connected, exchanged his phone numbers, blah, blah, blah. And it was after that that I started hitting him with samples. And in that first pack, that was actually the sample that ended up being Niagara Falls. The second part is just like, you never knew who somebody actually is or can be. When I met Alan, I didn't know it was Alan Ritter, the Alan Ritter. So we chopped it up off of just like that kind of relationship. And then it was after the fact when I left, I was like, oh my God, that was Alan Ritter. Build relationships with people who like you kind of vibe with. And I think that's like one of the best ways and most fulfilling ways, because when you end up getting a placement with those people, you're like, I don't know, it just feels more rewarding, if you know what I'm trying to say. So yeah.
All right, now we got Torpor. You'll have to tell me how to pronounce that shit. I don't know how to say that.
He asked, how did you find which area you're best in? in, and how important is it? Oh, to find your strengths. Good question. So I think my strength now, I guess sound design, but it didn't start that way. How did I even find it? That's a great question. I mean, when I was doing a lot of the film stuff, a lot of people just didn't have music and or sound design stuff, like simple things. Walking down a hall, it's like they didn't know how to put like footsteps and stuff in. I started teaching myself and learning, and that's how I got the opportunity to do Travis film. I was a part of like the Famous music video, a bunch of other cool stuff, and that inspired me to do the same sort of thing, but with the synths and everything, which then ultimately got me to being able to create my instruments. So find something that interests you and just start looking into it and see what can happen. The combination of the skills, like again, good example of that is like I had editing skills. So whenever I would do a Twitter commercial, a Nike commercial, I did stuff with The Weeknd. When those moments would happen, the directors would be like, oh, we need music or sound design. I'd be like, I could do that. And that's how I got these opportunities, even to this day, where I will edit as well as do all the sound for like a project like that.
How do you think I should focus on? Because I want to be like kind of like an industry producer. I want to get into that, go into the studios and stuff.
I'm not sure where you are, but just get into the big cities and find people. You're in Florida? Perfect. Like Illmind is there. Like this is what I would even do. I would save up some money and I would book a session. I'm pretty sure right now you can book for under $1,000. It'll give you a day at his studio with him and Don Mills. And the times that I've been there, that's when like Beam and all these great writers around. If you can be around, make some good connections, play some good beats, you end up just becoming one of the homies, and then that gets you into those industry sessions, and one thing snowballs to the next, and you end up with like a bunch of placements and stuff like that. So reach out to people and just try and connect. They're going to be the ones at this point that are going to open the doors. When that door opens, make sure you deliver.
Yo, real quick, before we get back into this and get into some more questions, if you want to be in these calls and actually talk face to face with me and other producers like this, check out the first link in the description down below for the Sonics Academy. It's not just the group calls. We've also got 30 hours of course material in there, unlimited feedback on your beats, free kits, free discounts, a bunch of crazy stuff. So if you're a serious producer and you really want to level up as a producer, business-wise or just music-wise, you should definitely check it out. Like I said, it'll be the first link in the description. But anyways, let's get back into it.
What's some advice you can give to me to get myself into these rooms, to be able to network with people as just a drum maker?
The first best step is to just start hitting people, networking, and see if you can meet some people in real life.
If you're also wondering like how do you get in the room with someone for the first time in the first place, I feel like you just need to like become friends with people that are like in London, like maybe the smaller producer who does know that big producer or something. Like just start replying to their stories with like actual comments on stuff, not just like, yo, like I sent loops.
And also just even a snowball off that, one of the things I found really useful, like go on your Instagram feed and mute everybody that isn't like the person that you kind of either want to become or connect with or whatever. When so-and-so posts, you're always there showing up, saying something funny or connecting. And then the last thing I was going to say is like, don't count out the fact that there's a lot of sample makers that need drum guys. Like there's so many sample makers I know. I've been hitting them up and being like, yo, what are you looking for? Is there anything I could do to help you? And they're like, man, so-and-so needs stuff, but like, can you do this for me? And then I'm doing like 20 beats and I'm actually just doing the drums to their samples because they have these good connections, but they're not drummers themselves. So I wouldn't sleep on that. There's a lot of people that were probably looking for that as well too.
If you didn't care so much about placements because of whatever it takes forever for a song to come out, in my mind, I'm like, okay, how can I set up like a sustainable, all I care about is I want to get to the point where I just wake up, come to the studio, make whatever I want, and then go to bed.
That's why I said in the beginning, the entrepreneur part. So 2 parts. I think you need to create a website, and realistically, like if you want to make real money off of it, you need to start running ads and stuff like that. You're going to do the organic game. People are going to get to know you. If you can then start showing up in their feeds, TikTok, whatever, and be like, hey, by the way, I make samples, way easier transition, because the TikTok application right now is like, you need to have a big, like a viral TikTok to get views. It's not based anymore on like your followers. So it really boils down to, is your content good enough? The only way to guarantee your content's good enough is to pay. I think, yeah, first steps is like website and then learning the basic marketing stuff. There's a thing in Facebook and you can see what other producers are running ads, the type of ads, how long they've been running. And if you see that, it means that ad is making them money. So you can make a very identical ad and hopefully make yourself the same amount of money. So yeah, really quickly, ads library, come in here, type anything. So Baby Audio, they're running 120 ads. This is from 31st all the way. If I scroll down, I don't know when this is from July 18th. You can sometimes go back years. You can come in here, watch the videos, learn, and realize if they're running this ad, they're running it because it's making them money.
You could even look and you could see the ones that are inactive. So you could be like, oh, it's only been up for a week and it was inactive. Like this ad did not do good.
Drum Broker. August 2nd, they ran this. You guys can't hear the sound, but it's just this album cover and a drum break. But if they're running it from August, they must be running it because it's successful. So that's how simple an ad can be. That's how you guys can easily be doing the same. Doesn't always work. There's risk, but this is how you get to a drum broker level, a baby audio level.
And one thing about ads is like, even if you're losing a little bit of money or just breaking even, a lot of times it's like, man, why don't I just like stop spending all this money? Because it feels like it's not really doing anything. But at the end of the day, it's like I'm acquiring new paying customers into my business for free.
Jacob, I know you mentioned you went to audio engineering school. So I'm currently at Jacob School of Music for audio engineering there. Like you said, it could be a waste of money. It's been running through my head recently. So
you just got to stay on top of like this shit, YouTube's, the tutorials, because like what they'll tell you there is like what's technically correct, phasing issues and stuff. When you get into the real world, that stuff doesn't matter as much. It's about speed, agility, what do you know, your taste level, your ears. So as long as you're matching what they might not be showing you in your spare time, you'll have a deadly combination. Yeah, I'll just say that's a skill. Anybody that can engineer, invite artists, that's how you get placements. If you can offer them free studio and help them make good songs, then you're like, also listen to my beats.
I think that's it for all the questions. So you can bounce if you need to, Jake, but if you want to show
a piece, I'll show you a little something.
Bet, perfect.
Very similar to Splice. I could come in here, I could add tags, so I could go dark piano, put it D minor if I want, and then I go ahead and hit spawn. And what it just created there was like a living, breathing sample. And I say that because this is a VST instrument and it pairs MIDI with the sounds. So what I can do right now is if I move this left and right, I can actually change the sound effects if I want. I can pitch this up, I could pitch it down, I could come in here and I could actually change all the individual sounds. I could come in here, I could add distortion, halftime, a bunch of different effects. I could even come in here and switch it to pre-made sounds with new MIDI. Let's just try something else out. Go to the next one. Right there, instantly you have a brand new idea and you have access to manipulate and change it in ways that you could just never do with an audio file. So yeah, this is what we've been working on, and just even hearing this right now, I'm super excited to share this with the world.
Real quick, before you guys go, if you guys enjoyed this kind of content, just let me know in the comments down below and I'll do more videos like this. This is a new style, so I have no idea how this is going to perform. But hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.